Hey YouTube, Mark here with another fragrance review. This time let's take a look at the house of Juicy Couture and their single only male release from the line, which is called Dirty English. Now Dirty English actually has sadly been discontinued or phased out from the line. You can still find bottles available at your discounters or online for very cheap, and it's finally my turn to give my take on this fragrance. Now this one, a man's man fragrance, guys. This is no unisex pussy stuff. This is for the real men out there. There's a heavy leather note in this, as you can see, hence the leather coat. This is like a bad boy leather coat wearing biker dude, definitely. That's why the leather coat is on for this introduction. It's coming off for the review though, guys. So let's get to it. Let's take a look at Dirty English from Juicy Couture, and I'm going to let you guys know my 2 cents on the fragrance. Let's go. Alright guys, let's tackle presentation, the bottle, and the box. And of course on my channel we tackle the box first. It's a general rule. Let's take a look at the box. Now, first and foremost, if you haven't noticed already, this is not your typical retail box for just the eau de toilette. No, I got the gift set for Dirty English. Now, this was actually a great deal for me. I remember it was just $1 more to get the gift set. So it was a no-brainer for me. It came with the eau de toilette and it came with the, of course, the shower gel. Now the presentation has changed for the gift set, just to let you guys know. There's a little bit of information in the back, nothing big here. This presentation right here, just to let you guys know, it has changed ever since I bought it. So don't you worry if the presentation looks a little different. They have different type of gift sets for Dirty English, but I really recommend getting the shower gel. The shower gel was actually fantastic for this fragrance. It was worth the $1. I'd pay at least gladly $10 for that shower gel. It really brought out the cedar wood in this fragrance. Well, it brought out the cedar wood in the actual shower gel. So it was really nice, good shower gel, woody shower gel for these Canadian winters of ours. So really nice. Now let's take a look at the actual bottle. Let's bring this sucker out. And as you can see, first and foremost, lots of detail on this bottle. Very nicely done by Juicy Couture. Some may call this tacky. I'm calling this badass. This is absolutely gorgeous. This is something, right now I'm picturing a biker, leather jacket, 5 o'clock shadow, you know, that type of guy wearing this type of fragrance. This is absolutely gorgeous. Now let's take a look. Let's take the cap off. Let's go in detail with the cap, and then we'll go from there. Now, of course, you got the emblem right here. You got a couple little charms here, tied up with a leather band. You can actually take this band off if you wish to do so, and wear it on your wrist. I'm not that type of guy, so I'm just going to leave it on the cap. And it's kind of cool. It kind of has like a nice heavy cap, actually. Really well done. Let's take a look at presentation on the bottle, and you see it's very hard glass. This is thick, nice glass here. You got the sticker right here. Yes, this is a sticker. I'm going to put this guy right back on. And you got really dark juice, guys. And you know the thumb rule for really dark juice, don't wear it on a white shirt. Don't spray it on a white shirt, it will stain. And the spray on this thing is actually not bad, not the greatest. And there you go. This is the full presentation. Badass bottle. Looks good. Let's get this review going on Dirty English. Alright guys, let's take a look at Juicy Couture's Dirty English. We'll start it off with bottle sizes. This guy comes in 2 standards, 1.7, 3.4, which is the one you're looking at right now. It does come in a little mini. I've seen little mini bottles, I believe at Walmart. They're like $5 or $6 American, give or take. Usually I'm a big advocate of testing them out with these little minis. But I don't think, as far as the money goes, I would say forego that one and try to find a 1.7 ounce for really cheap. This fragrance, like I said in my intro, has been discontinued from Juicy Couture. So it has been hitting bargain bins, discounters, hard for the past few years. So it might have been slashed like 2-3 times depending how popular this fragrance is in your area. If it's not popular, it might be almost like $15 to get a 1.7 ounce or even $10. So look around, see if you can find a deal on this one. Retail price for Juicy Couture's Dirty English, it's hard to gauge just because it's been at discounters for such a long time now. I would be looking at $20, maybe $15 American, right up to $45 American. Don't really spend that much more on this fragrance. It wouldn't be worth it. $15 is actually a really good price for this one. Now this one hit the shelves in 2008, and this is the designer game at its finest now. This fragrance discontinued really early in its life. This is what we're getting at in the designer game. They release it, it's not selling, let's discontinue it right away. So it doesn't really have time to enjoy fragrance. So if you really enjoy fragrance, heed my warning, buy 2 bottles instead of 1. Now this one, Group, it is a woody, spicy fragrance. Now this one has made a few of my top 10 list, just because it is a holiday fragrance for me. I really love wearing this one indoors. I love wearing woody, spicy fragrances around the holidays, like Burberry London, John Varvatos Vintage, stuff like that. But some of them are really potent, really out there, and in a warm house full of people, sometimes it's not the best idea to wear a warm, spicy, woody fragrance. This guy's really tame on my skin. Projection longevity is actually pretty poor on my skin also. So I really like to wear this around the holidays indoors. Indoors is actually the best way of wearing this fragrance. Now, the list. It made my 2009 top holiday list, my top 3. It made at slot number 3. And then in 2010, it again made my holiday list. It was a top 10 that year, and it made it again at 3. So it's very much one of my highly regarded holiday scents. I really like wearing this one in December. Perfumier Claude. Claude has done a few fragrances in the men's section, namely Hugo Energize and Lacoste Pour Homme. I would say this is probably his top 3 fragrance for men. Recommended age, this one's really hard to gauge what kind of age range. When I take a look at woody, spicy fragrances, I really try to tend to say, yeah, it's more of a mature fragrance, like 25 and up. But this one has like a little tinge of sweetness in it that would actually appeal to the teenagers out there. So if you are a teenager, you really own a lot of aquatics, a lot of safe scents, and you're really wanting to delve into like a woody, spicy, like a man's fragrance, maybe for the winter time, take a look at this one. The price point is great. It's not, you know, overly out there. I think it's great for you guys. You can't really overspray on this one just because it's so tame. I think it's a really good beginner fragrance for woody and spicy. So definitely take a look at this one. So I would say basically anybody can wear this. Older gentlemen right up to the teenagers. So teenagers, heed my warning. This is a good one to start you off in the woody, spicy genre. How many sprays and wear? This one I go 5. 1 on the chest, 1 on each side of my neck, right behind my ears right here, 1 on each arm, and I am good to go. 5 sprays is perfect for this one. You can go a little more if you want, but again, it's not going to do much on your skin. This one does die down quite a bit, and it is known for lack of longevity and projection. Now let's take a look at the notes. This one is peppered full of notes. It really reminds me of a John Varvatos fragrance just because they just have so many notes. This one, let's take a look at the top notes. Mandarin, bergamot, blue cypress, cardamom, and cardaway. In the mid, we got marjoram, black leather, which is basically the theme of this fragrance. Sandalwood, we got atlas cedar, which is also a big theme, and then vetiver. In the base, we got amber musk, agarwood or oud, black moss absolute, and ebony woods. So that's basically your fragrance in a nutshell. So let's take a look at what I smell from top to bottom. Alright guys, it's time to dissect Dirty English from Juicy Couture. I'm going to let you all know what I get from this fragrance from top to bottom. So let's do an initial spray on my hand. Now I have tested Dirty English for well over a year on my skin. This initial spray is just to let you guys know of the initial sniff of the fragrance. Let's give it a sniff and I'll let you guys know what I smell from this fragrance. Now right off the bat, this fragrance is busy. A lot of those notes that I told you guys about from the top to the bottom are here. They're trying to vie for your nose. They're trying to get your nose's attention. And a lot of people are not going to like this. This is way too much for them. They can't handle it. They're going to hate this fragrance right away. And then other people are actually going to enjoy or love this fragrance right off the bat. I always tell my subscribers, give a fragrance a chance. Maybe that top note's a little too much for you. Let it dry down and see what it gives you. Always do that. Now this fragrance, yes, it's very much in your face right off the bat. I actually did a little bit of testing with this top note. I tested on my skin, I sprayed it on my skin and tried to figure out what people felt about this fragrance right off the bat. You know what they gave me? They said it smells like dirt, earthy dirt. And I guess they aptly named it Dirty English. A lot of people figure like these fragrances, this fragrance is heavily masculine, guys. There's a lot of spice, there's a lot of woods, there's leather in here. She's dark and she's earthy. In some points of this fragrance, she's earthy. So a lot of people will think when they first smell this, they smell dirt. For me, it's a little different. What I get from this fragrance, I get a little bit of booziness in the introduction of this fragrance. Now there's some citrus popping out, but the main players in this introduction is going to be your leather note, your woods, and of course your herbal notes in this fragrance. So a lot of your black leather is your main note in this fragrance, and it does pop off right off the bat. Now the woods is mostly cedarwood. I really get a lot of the cedarwood in this introduction. Now there is a lot of cardamom in the introduction of this fragrance also, and there is an herbal note in here that really gives you that herbal feeling, and that's marjoram. That note is actually in John Varvatos Vintage, so it will remind some people to that fragrance if you smelled that one before. Now this fragrance is actually in your face quite a bit in this top note. Once it dries down to the heart, it's going to be more of a skin scent. This fragrance doesn't project very well. Once it gets to the heart, forget about it. Now the heart's not really that much different from the top note. You do lose your citrus, but the major players are still there. Cedarwood, leather. You do get a hint of sweetness from this fragrance, from the amber in the mid. Now the woods do maintain. There's basically, this mid is an earthy, woody feel throughout the fragrance, but the leather note comes up almost tenfold. Now this leather note, a lot of people are saying either A, it's a synthetic leather note, yeah, duh. Yes, it's a synthetic leather note. Is it the best in the business? Far from it. But it is a solid note to anchor this fragrance. I gotta let you guys know the leather note's not the best, but it is well done. It's not a stink fest, we'll say. Now the cedar does take center stage with the leather in this fragrance in the mid. Now once it dries down right down to the base of this fragrance, it continues with that dark theme. You still get a lot of the woodiness in this fragrance, but it almost gives you like a musky, mossy feeling at the end of it. Now I did want to touch down on the oud. The oud in this fragrance is tame, guys. It does peak, you know, here to there, like from sometimes in this fragrance, from time to time, it does peak out a little bit. This is not an oud based fragrance. It's not one of those fragrances that if you don't know what an oud smells like, you're not going to figure it out in this one. It's definitely not a major player in this fragrance. It's basically more in the background. It peaks here and there, but to be honest, it's not something that's worth a mention, to be honest, with this fragrance. So let's see what I think of Dirty English. I'm going to let you guys know my 2 cents on this fragrance. Alright guys, time for the overview on Dirty English. I'm going to start it off with saying this is one of my favorite indoor winter fragrances of all time. What do I mean by that? Well, these Canadian winters, they eat Dirty English for breakfast. Longevity and projection isn't the best for this fragrance, so I had to find an alternative to wearing this during the winter time. What can I do? Well, keep it simple, stupid. Wear it indoors. When I'm hosting around Thanksgiving or Christmas time, when I'm having people over, I wear this fragrance. In a warm home, wearing a spicy, woody fragrance with a lot of balls is not a good idea, especially when you have a lot of people. It's a warm home, they're close to you, they won't be close to you after smelling that type of fragrance in their face. They're going to choke. So wearing this, it's more of a skin scent once it dries down, and I still have that woody spicy that I love. Perfect. I love wearing this during that time. Fun fact on Dirty English, it actually was nominated for a Fifi Award. If you don't know what a Fifi Award is, it's basically the Grammys of fragrances. It was nominated in 2009 for Best Male Luxe Release. Sadly it didn't win, but it's nice to see that it's getting a little bit of love. Now all those woody lovers out there, if you love woods, this one's for you. Yes, it is advertised as a leather-based fragrance. I'm not denying that, but there is a heavy dose of cedarwood in this, and I absolutely love it. So definitely check it out, especially for the price point. You can't go wrong, guys. Now this one makes me think of two different Two different portraits. One is the portrait that everybody thinks about. It's a biker with his leather jacket and his bike. Done. Next is actually this fragrance with the woods, the smokiness to it, and of course something a little different is the herbal notes mixing with the vetiver, that earthy like note. Almost made me smell like almost a wet soil. This makes me think of going camping. So yeah, two different ideas, a camper and a biker. But on different occasions, this gives me those two different ideas. Very, very nice from this fragrance. Now, too bad this fragrance is getting phased out from the line. This is hitting bargain bins like crazy, so grab your bottle, even a backup if you can, before this fragrance is gone. It's been in bargain bins for a while now, a few years, and it's going to run out after a while, and you won't be able to get this. For the price, it is absolutely a gem for the price. Now, if you don't own any woody or spicy fragrances, this is a great, not just a good, a great, great fragrance to start off in the woody or spicy genre. I really, really highly suggest. For the cost of this fragrance, no problem. Why would you hate this fragrance? A lot of reasons. A lot of people say that it's linear, synthetic. The darkness in this, like the earthy tone to it, the leather in it, it's synthetic. All this mixed up together, a lot of people don't like that. And of course, projection and longevity, which is probably the main player in this one. I think if they made an extreme or an eau de parfum of this fragrance, I really think this would be a winner in these Canadian winters. I would rock it, definitely. One word to describe this fragrance, it'd have to be manly. Bottles, there's tons of fragrances out there that are like this, so you can find alternatives, just not at this price. We got Gucci Put On 1, we got John Varvatos Vintage, we got Comme des Garçons 2-man. Some cheapies that kind of smell like this, Intimately Beckham, Tommy Bahama, the original, and some say Eternity from Calvin Klein. When I close my eyes, this fragrance reminds me of, I've said it enough, a biker, a leather jacket, a bad boy, a man's fragrance. Best time to wear this fragrance, casually, night out. Sometimes I wear this during the day, especially when it's cold outside, of course. Daily wear, why not? A signature scent worthy fragrance? Yeah, definitely. Compliment factor. Now this one, of course, with my testing of initial spray, when everybody was saying, this is dirty, it smells like dirt, right? Compliment factor wasn't very high then. But when it dried down a little bit, when people were getting close or giving you hugs and stuff, women that love their men to smell like men, love this. Compliment factor, high. Skyrocketed high. Good, great almost. My 2 cents, this fragrance is a great starter fragrance into the spicy, woody leather genre for a guy. If all you own is aquatics and safe scents, this is a safe bet. For the price, you can't go wrong. I'm looking at this at what it is. It's a cheap alternative to fragrances like Gucci Put On and stuff like that. So price point is a huge factor in this review on this one. But you can't go wrong. For the price, you really, really can't go wrong. So guys, buy, try, or pass on Dirty English. Again, price point does do a huge job for this buy, try, or pass. I am going to recommend Dirty English as a buy. Yes, if you can get it for under 20, buy it. That is the gist of it. Dirty English, actually a very, very decent release from Juicy Couture, sadly discontinued. Let's go to the rating system and see how this guy does. Alright guys, let's rate Dirty English from Juicy Couture. Projection 7. It actually projected very well from the start, and then it turns into a skin scent. Longevity, I gave it a 6, 3 to 6 hours on most wearings. A lot of people get a lot less than what I do, and actually a little handful of people get more than what I do. Versatility, I'm going to give it an 8. Pretty decent for almost an all-season fragrance. Overall smell, I'm going to give it a 7. Seasons, this is basically a winter-fall fragrance. Daily wear, night wear, you pick. Spring, almost a nighttime fragrance for that. Great starter into the spicy, smoky, woody genre. Not a fragrance I would recommend to someone experienced in the game. It is a heavy scent that is strangely subtle and light on the skin. Overall, I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. Go check it out.